Welcome to the Her Sweet Spot Experience, dishing out tips and tricks on mindset, money, marketing, and media for your life and business, and where we talk to women about how they found their sweet spot.
Hey guys, welcome to the Her Sweet Spot Experience. I'm your host, Marsha Guerriere, and on today's episode, we'll be talking with Chris Bryan. He's an engineer, he's a business strategist, and he's an author. I can't wait to get into this week's conversation with him. But you guys know how I love to start off each show by giving you tips and tricks of things that I've learned along the way in this entrepreneurial game. So today's tip, guys, is all about mindset, and it's in honor of our guest. Today's tip is don't expect a customer service mindset to come naturally to all of your team members. When you're ready to hire people on your team, can we start normalizing that some people need to be trained? You know, it's important that you explain to your staff that's the most important element of customer service mindset are the ability to listen, read those nonverbal cues, have strong verbal and written skills, be patient, and have sound judgment. Not everyone will excel in all these areas. So, you guys as business owners need to know that you need to invest in customer service training when needed. Don't think that everybody's going to come into this perfect little box, especially at the customer service level where sometimes the folks coming in are not trained and are not experienced at customer service. You might even choose to do this periodically as a refresher for the people that you have on staff so that you can continue to provide that top-notch A1 customer service. Right, guys? All right, that's your tip for today, everyone. I thank you. All right, everyone. As I mentioned, you are inside Her Sweet Spot Experience, where I bring you amazing guests and content in mindset, money, marketing, and media. Get your pens and your papers out because you know my guests are always dropping some ching nuggets on you every single time. Let me start by telling you a little bit about today's guest. Chris Bryan is an entrepreneur, a quality engineer on a mission to transform the brand of customer satisfaction delivered by small businesses. He has developed a customer satisfaction system designed to move any business owner from a mindset of survival to an exploration of how meeting your customer needs will transform your business. After completing his BS in mechanical engineering from Rochester Institute of Technology, he began his career with General Electric through their world-renowned manufacturing management program, where he learned the concepts and principles of quality engineering and obtained his Sigma Greenbelt Certification. Now, if you guys are in the business of serving your customers, whether it is in technology or not, you know that Six Sigma certification is the best of the best. Chris is the author of the forthcoming book, Customer Satisfaction. It's not just your promise, it's your business. It's a step-by-step guide to developing processes that will guarantee customer satisfaction for restaurants and other small businesses. Guys, we gotta welcome Chris to the show. I had to applaud you with all of those great accolades. And your years of experience, Chris, you have really set the mark. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Marsha. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. Let me not be coy with the listeners. You are a friend to the room. You are a Her Sweet Spot. What do we call you? Member. You are
proud male. I'm a proud male Her Sweet Spot member.
That's right. You are a member, you're a client, you're an ally, and you understand and know the power of community, and that's why you're here today. So I appreciate you for being part of the Her Sweet Spot community, and I'm excited to talk about your business, your career, and what led you to be excited about teaching small businesses about customer satisfaction. So tell me why customer satisfaction is so important to you, Chris.
You know, it just always bugged me. You know, my background led up to it. You know, I'm Jamaican. You know, I love my culture, love my food. Yes, definitely. You know, and so with that, and then having the background of an engineer and quality and so on, and, you know, Six Sigma and learning all these ways and processes to using systems, right, to help businesses to ensure that their customers are happy and making products that meet specifications and meet regulations and all that. So with that background and me being out and about and enjoying my culture through food and other experiences, when I would go to some, not all, but right, some of the restaurants in my community that were supposedly representing me and my culture, and I would get the level of service that it would just turn my stomach. And I would really get, every time I went out, no matter with friends, with my girlfriend, whoever, I would make comments. I'd be looking at the way they were doing things and making a complaint. And it dawned on me, you know, that, hey, listen, with my background, with what I know, I have some skills, some tools that could be used, right, in order to help them to put in place systems, processes, and training, like you said in your intro, and training that could better help them to ensure that their customers are happy, referring, coming back, and eventually growing their revenue through a focus on customer service and ultimately customer satisfaction.
I love that. I tell, you know, everyone that I come in contact with, especially for the women and men that are working a full-time job and know in the back of their mind there's a business within them, right?
Yes.
And it's important to look at the skills you have and look at the side passions you have, or the things that connect you most to your culture, to your to different industries, and a passion. And for you, it was a passion for fine dining and wanting to see dining experiences met at a high level for particularly Black-owned, Caribbean-owned restaurants. I think that's so important, and it's something, you know, as a Caribbean woman myself, I don't know why I made that accent, but you know, I'm from Haiti.
Yeah.
But I completely understand, because my people need you, Chris. My people need you. I completely. So when you looked at your skills, right? How did you think of and use your 25 years experience? You have over 25 years experience as an engineer.
Don't remind me, Marsha. Don't remind me.
Listen, we age well, Chris. So I am okay with sharing that I have over 25 years, and you should be too, right? That wisdom comes with those 25 years. And that's why I think it's important to highlight that. People should know that, yes, 25 years, so don't count me out. You know, I am bringing you the expertise in what you need to advance your business. So how did you look at your skills and your background and degree in engineering, and how were you able to transfer that to help small businesses?
You know, what was natural, because I just looked at it as a problem. Okay, so I've got a problem, right? And I automatically started using the tools. It's funny, I actually have the original, so I wrote a mind map, right? Where I was like, it's like brainstorming by myself, but brainstorming of, okay, here's the problem. I put it in the middle. Problem is bad customer service, right? And I thought, well, what are the elements that make, that impact this? And I actually, in my mind, walked through this process of, okay, is the restaurant with the bad service, and I started from, what are these various elements that impact you ending up having bad service. So I used that process and actually drew out this mind map. If you look at my book, it's actually on one of the first pages. Well, the nice version of the mind map, right, is in actually in the book.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no problem.
Please share with everyone the title of your. I think I talked about that, right? I mentioned the title, but
yes,
let's talk about that book. Yes, tell us more.
Yeah, so I mean, so that it started there, where I drew this mind map, and I actually still have the original on a and it's years old, but basically it was the blueprint. It was the beginnings of the 9-part framework, which then now has become like the framework for my whole business model. But it started with that framework and this idea of any business owner should walk through your business from the customer's vantage point, and you can observe. If you pay attention, and this is the hard part, is suspending the natural owner, take that owner hat off, and from the customer's vantage point, look at all the interactions that someone's going to have with your business, starting from up front, the marketing. How are they attracted to you? They find you online, they hear you on the radio or whatever, they walk through the door, and that every single experience, from the from the first impressions, and then serving the customer, and then getting the service delivered to them, and then the product and the service quality, so looking at each of these areas, and then if you look at them, and then you start to use your resources of feedback, right? Use your resources of your employees and what they know about the process, and if you ask the right questions, you could identify the problems that could potentially occur. And the whole premise is that if you know the problems, well, then why don't you in advance just put the fixes in place in advance before they even happen? And that way, that's why I say you can guarantee the satisfaction of every single customer if you go through that process and you put these fixes in advance. And that way, before the problems even happen, the solution. Or if it's gonna, this is real life and things are gonna happen, you can at least know what you're gonna do to resolve the situation, and then you can train your employees so that they're empowered, right? To take action, to get rid of, eliminate, or fix the problem when it happens. And that way, you can make sure when that customer walks out the door, regardless of what happened, they are walking out of there, they're happy, they're singing your praises, and more importantly, they're ready to refer new business to you and come back again, because that's the bottom line. So that's
the complete mark of customer satisfaction. Those referrals. Those referrals speak louder than someone, personal praise, right? So you have this 9-part framework that you put together in your book that is out, and they could pre-order or order it right now on your website.
Yes, they can. They can order. They can go to my website, customersatisfactionbook.com. They could go there and they can order the book there.
And you're teaching them how to walk in their customers' shoes, which is so important. Chris, we talk to many entrepreneurs, we talk to many leaders here on the Her Sweet Spot Experience, and I ask this question of everyone. In your opinion, what kind of quality should a person have to be successful in their career or business?
I think people are spending good money, right? In whatever product or service you're delivering, people, you have the basics, so you got to at least provide them with the basics. But then if you want to develop fans, right? That are going to be singing your praises and referring, you got to go above and beyond, and you got to, it's all about that experience. So, you have to ensure that their experience with your product or service is something that they're going to come out of it saying, wow, man, I'm going back. I'm telling my friends, I'm telling my family, and so on. So really that's the root of it. And that's what I would encourage every business owner, is to start with the basics, but then build on top of that and build in the systems and the processes to ensure that every experience that person is going to have, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, right, that you're going to meet first, but then exceed their expectations, so that they're, you have them singing your praises and ready to bring you new business through referrals.
Excellent. With that, Chris, you started this business consulting and providing strategies for. And by the way, this 9-part framework works for any small business, not just
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So as you began to build your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that one piece of advice you would give to our listeners that are changing or moving into a business and using their skill set? There's a real transition from employee to employer.
Yes.
It is something that I help my clients navigate between, because at times it can feel like a battle. So what is that one piece of advice you can give to someone starting off their business now that's still working their full-time job?
Yeah. Wow, this is a challenge because it's a process and I'm still going through it. But it's basically, you got to be balanced, and you have to. Sometimes you're gonna have the time to put in to your your part-time or whatever, and then other times you're gonna have to devote time to do your full-time. But you're gonna have to manage that. You're gonna have to manage that, and you're gonna have to be responsible. We're all grown adults, right? And we're gonna have to manage that time to know, okay, I could squeeze in or carve out some time. And then you got family, you got the kids and the family and the other obligations. So it's really about carving out the time to get all of those things done in the timing that they need to be done. So, and it's an ongoing thing. There's no magic wand. And you just gotta every day find that time and make the time.
Right.
Make the time. So that's the tough part.
Find the time and make the time. Yep. And I would add what I think you were saying is let go of the perfectionism. Just work on what's important.
That's huge. Yeah.
Chris, what are some of the resources like books, podcasts, TV shows? Because I'm a TV fanatic. What are some of the resources that you use to inspire you?
To inspire me, believe it or not, and so I'm a big Shark Tank fan.
Love it.
I love to watch Shark Tank. I listen to a lot of podcasts, around mindset. To me, I think, so there's I listen to a lot of podcasts about technical how to do this and how to do that. But I think, and you need that, that's important. But I think above all of that, mindset, because we all have the ups and downs and we go through it. And you gotta, if your mind isn't right, it doesn't matter how much and you're not gonna be in the right frame of mind to execute. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I need that dose. You need to continually feed yourself and build yourself up and put yourself in an environment where you're gonna get and I'll be, and that's what I love about being a Herd Sweet Spot member is being able to share. Because sometimes, being an entrepreneur can be lonely.
Yeah,
it can be very lonely, and you're got your head down and you're plugging away, and you're doing your thing. And sometimes you need your family and your friends. They love you, whatever, but they're not trying to hear. All the time you're talking about your business.
They're like, "Oh, here come Chris again."
Talking about that customer service thing again. Here we go. So you really need to surround yourself with an environment of people that are like-minded and where you can bounce things off of and share your highs and your lows, right? And get them to win. I think we don't do that. And I'll even say, now I think the women are doing a great job at this, and I see that through what you're doing and helping women. I don't think the men are doing that great of a job of it, and I encourage. Sometimes we like to, we just want to put our head down and make it happen, but you need to collaborate and you need to share and you need to surround yourself with people who are going to help you to do that.
Chris, I have this conversation with people all the time about why women only or why women, and it's never only, but it's the
Mhm.
predominant, right? And it's really because men naturally get support. Men naturally gravitate to each other, and they don't need explanation to why I need to invest in this man that looks like me. And so women need to be reminded, because we have, you know, the black struggle is 400 years, women's struggle is 800 years. So we have to compound that, especially as black and brown people. We
Yeah.
have to double impact to overcome, and it's important for us to do these things. But I appreciate you for the plug for the Her Sweet Spot membership. And right now, Chris, you and I could talk all night, because I think we have in a lot of conversations and group settings and meetings that we have. But now's the perfect time for us to take a little break, and we'll be back with our In the News segment. Will you hang out with me to go through some in the news stuff?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be back, guys. You're listening to Her Sweet Spot Experience.
Are you struggling to define your brand identity? Do you need help preparing your business to gain access to funding? Are you managing your company on top of your 9-to-5? Well, welcome to Her Sweet Spot. As a business owner, full-time employee, and mother, I understand the hardships that come with being an entrepreneur. That's why I started Her Sweet Spot, as a way to amplify the voices of women of color, where we can build our own economic wealth. When you become a member, you will receive access to our learning library filled with webinars and downloadable worksheets and workbooks, our bi-weekly business coaching calls, and your own roadmap worksheets so that you can track and mark your progress as you go.
All right, guys, welcome back, everyone. I am here with Chris Bryan. He is an engineer, he is a business strategist, and the new author of the book Customer Satisfaction. It's not just your business, it is your, Chris, and that statement for me.
It's not just your promise, it's your business.
That's right. So go grab his book. But Chris, we've come to the point in our broadcast where we want to do a segment that I call In the News. And today's In the News segment is an article that I found on Inc.com written by Jeff Hayden. And it is the 6 key mindsets for providing outstanding customer service. Great customer service isn't an afterthought. It's built into the DNA of your company. Are you ready, Chris?
Yes, let's go.
All right, I'm going to read these. I'm going to read actually only the top 3 of the top 6 that's provided in this article. And you guys could go online and find it at Inc.com. Look up Jeff Hayden, and he will give you all 6 of the key mindsets. But we're going to talk about the first 3, Chris. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mindset number 1 that Jeff talks about is you can afford to be generous. He writes, the most important mindset to have before engaging in communications with a customer or client is that your business is secure. Even if it's not, you have to feel that it is. Money will come your way. You will do well. You are one of the lucky ones. Most are not so fortunate. You can afford to be generous. All great service comes from the feeling of generosity and abundance. Now, Chris, my clients hate when I tell them, stop being so stingy, give it away before you take it in. What do you think about you can afford to be generous?
Yeah, because I think you do have to focus on the customer. You can't hold everything to yourself. I mean, sometimes you gotta, put it out there and focus on their needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes it means that, this actually happened to me the other day with a client I was working with. And I being my coach, Marsha, you would probably tell me you should have charged her for that, Chris. But you know what? It's going to come back to me. And I think what this thing is saying that you've got to have the mindset that, you know what, it's going to come back to me. Thinking abundance and not being stingy, and and it will come back to you. So I think that is true, that you have to have that mindset. You got to be smart about, you can't give everything away. But even with content, right? Content creation, we're doing all this stuff. We're creating all this content and stuff and putting it out there. And you do have to think the mindset, yep, I'm going to put it out there. And you know what? The right people will see it and gravitate towards it. And they'll want more of it, and it will come back to me. So I agree with what he's saying.
Right. You know me, I do tell you often, charge your value, charge your worth. And it's not everything we can give away, but there is a certain level of information. If it can be found online at the zero freemium that is out here, give it away, right? Yep. But if it's something that you proprietized, you are teaching them something that they truly can't find anywhere, then I think you need to go for the cha-chings, right?
Yep.
All right. So mindset number 2 of the 6 key mindsets for providing outstanding customer service, found in an article on Inc.com by Jeff Hayden, is the customer is more important than the company. Ooh, clutching my pearls. Think of the article says, think of a time when you had to make a big decision. For example, the choice between taking a job that pays more money versus one that pays less but gives you more freedom. Do you remember how it felt when you were conflicted between 2 such choices, weighing the pros and the cons and going back and forth? The way you resolved it was to finally decide which value was more important to you. For example, more money or more freedom. So mindset number 2, Chris, the customer is more important than the company. What say you?
It's interesting. That one, I'm not, I don't think I 100% agree. The customer, your customer is more important than your own company. I think, is that what he's saying?
That's what he's trying to say here.
It's a balance, because you know what? Some customers are not your customer. I do not subscribe to the
thank you.
The customer is always right philosophy. I don't subscribe to that. Sometimes the customers are not right, especially when it comes to your employees and putting them in, abusive situation where the customer is going to be berating them or physically putting them in physical harm. Sometimes the customer is not right, and you need to, as a business owner, create an environment where your employees know that you have their back, you have their, you're going to support them. And on the other side, of course, you have to set the expectations that they know what you expect out of customer service, and that they have to meet and exceed that. But, sometimes the customer is not right, and you need to be there to support them and ensure that they have a safe environment to work in, and you're going to have their back, as long as they're also living up to your expectations around customer service. So I'm going to have to disagree with that one, Marcia.
I wholeheartedly, completely agree with you. Customers do not come before your business. They are a part of your business, and every part of your business deserves to be equally seen and valued as important. When you're a business owner, when you have to make those tough decisions, there's nothing more than a disgruntled team, right? And a team member. And when you do, it's like your kids. Like, how sometimes you can't tell your kid you believe the teacher more than that. It's important that you really do show your team members that you value them as well. So it's really about your value system and how you can, like you said at the beginning, balance all of that. So thank you for your point of view. That's exactly what we like here inside Her Sweet Spot. We'd like to hear your expertise and point of view. So number 3, of the 6 key mindsets for providing outstanding customer service, as told by Inc.com, written by Jeff Hayden, is, and this is the third and final one that we're going to review today. And you guys can head over to Inc.com and look for this article, but it's customer service is a profit center. The article says companies put tremendous energy into getting people to buy, but they don't put nearly the effort into improving the customer experience after people buy. Anyone can see the reason to focus on getting customers to buy. The profit is obvious, but it takes wisdom, experience, and long-term thinking to understand that keeping your existing customers thrilled is even more profitable. It says that customer service is not an expense to be lessened. It's a core profit center, just like sales. It's something you put the best people on, not the cheapest. Invest in customer service training. Now, Chris, I don't have to guess what you're going to say about this.
Yes.
Your whole consultancy is helping small businesses train their staff. It is a profit center. I like the way this article put this one. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that one I wholeheartedly agree with. I mean, if people understand customer lifetime value, if the money that you spend, right, the marketing dollars that you spend to get one customer, right, if you were to invest the money and time and energy in keeping that customer, I think the number is like 20 times. It's worth 20 times to keep that customer versus going out chasing, spending the advertising dollars to get customer number 2. If you were to keep customer number 1 over the long term, it is much more valuable. It's the effort and that customer is also going to generate even more for you because they're going to be happy. They're going to be referring. They're going to be bringing you. And I call it the multiplying effect, right? Yes. So there's so much to be said about investing the energy, the time, the money in training your staff and putting in those systems and processes to keep that one customer over a longer term. You're going to see so much revenue out of that one customer and investing in keeping that customer versus always chasing the next customer and chasing the next customer. And that has no legs. That has no longevity, and you'll be spending money advertising and getting in, churning through customers over and over again versus sustainably growing based on this base of customers that are now going out, and it's like they're going out and they're bringing in more and referring and so on. So I definitely agree with this one.
Yeah, that for me, that was a great place to end for me in this 6 key mindsets for providing outstanding customer service. I thought that was a great place for us to end. If you guys want to see the remaining 3, you can head over to Inc.com and Google or search for Jeff Hayden, and he will provide you with the other 6. Chris, we could talk for like ever and ever, right? Please, thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate what you're doing for our community, for our culture, and for the world of small businesses and supporting them and getting them that much closer to building strong relationships with their clients. Tell everyone listening where they can get your book and where they can connect with you online.
Yeah. So the best way to stay connected is actually to go to my Linktree, because there they can get the link to buy the book. They could find out about our upcoming launch party, right, which is going to be in a few weeks.
Yes.
So go to Linktree. So that's linktr.ee. So linktr.ee for Linktree/customer satisfaction services. So they could find me there, and from there you could find, you could link to buy the book. You can find out about our upcoming launch party. I'd love to invite people to attend that as well, and all of our blog and website and and everything else. So find me there. And again, Marsha, I want to thank you for having me on. And I look forward to serving your audience in any way that I can with customer service for their business.
Excellent. We can't wait to continue growing and expanding together. And I appreciate you. Like I said, guys, that's our show for today. I thank you and love you guys for listening. And until next time, remember, when we empower each other, we all rise.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Her Sweet Spot Experience. Make sure to visit our website, www.hersweetspot.com. That's her, SUITE, spot.com, where you can become a member of our growing community and get great content for your life and business. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We are your strategic partners to grow your business.